So the 10th Democratic debate just wrapped up in Charleston, South Carolina, and I gotta say, that entire showing was god-awful. Whether it was the moderators asking Bloomberg whether or not he would do a trans fat and big gulp soda ban nationwide, or the moderators asking whether or not we would wage cyber war on Russia in response to them meddling with our elections, the moderators did a piss poor job, and for that, they are the biggest losers. By effect, we, the American people, are also the biggest losers for what an awful performance that entire debate was. I think the quality of the debate can be summed up in this next clip that shows all of the candidates just talking over each other for what seems to be a full minute of just gobble gobble.
Mr. Steyer.
I think we're talking about
Matt. We'll get to you, Mr. Sanders.
Let's talk about it.
Can I say something?
Look, first of all,
Bernie, let me go. Let me go.
Tom, I think she was talking about my plan, not yours.
I think we were talking about math, and it doesn't take 2 hours to do the math. Because let's talk about what it adds up to.
We don't.
Let's talk about math indeed. Okay, so here's the math. No, here's the math.
Can I respond to the
doing nothing is what will happen.
Senator Sanders, you're allowed a quick response, and then we would like to allow the other candidates.
Moderator, guys.
Senator Sanders?
Moderator. Is it my turn?
This helps a lot, doesn't
you
it?
have been name-checked. You are allowed to respond.
Honestly, that whole showing was embarrassing on behalf of all of the candidates. The moderators did not help in that whole shebang because they didn't decisively call on one candidate to speak. Instead, they just sat back. I think they actually fell asleep during the debate and let the candidates just ramble over each other. I couldn't understand a single word that anyone was saying. They honestly were asleep the entire time through the debate, which also allowed the candidates to continuously talk over each other and go over time during the debate as well. Here's a compilation of Pete Buttigieg, who was insufferable during the entire debate. Pete Buttigieg talking over Bernie Sanders every opportunity that he could get, without really even saying anything. But I guess that's par for the course with Pete Buttigieg.
Response.
Let us be clear. Do we think health care for all, Pete, is some kind of radical communist idea? Do we think raising the minimum wage to a living wage? Do we think building the millions of units of affordable housing that we need? Do we think raising taxes on billionaires is a radical idea?
Let's talk about what's radical about that plan.
Reform is a radical idea.
The things you just named.
Do we think immigration reform? The truth is, Pete, that the American people support my agenda. That is why I am beating Trump in virtually every poll that has done, and why I will defeat him.
We got to open this up. Universal. Yes, because there's no comparing those two
What Barack Obama said is they made great progress on education and health care. That was Barack Obama.
I talked to Barack Obama.
Excuse me.
I honestly don't know what Pete thinks that he's accomplishing by speaking over Bernie Sanders, but I think that he came off poorly. He came off as someone that was not in the same league as Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders kept his composure and his cool and was able to elaborate the thought that he wanted to, whereas Pete Buttigieg the entire time felt like he was leading up to saying something without ever really saying anything at all, which again seems like par for the course for Pete Buttigieg. Lastly, the debate audience, I think, was a big problem. So many times during the debate, many times when Bernie Sanders was speaking, but also, to be fair, when other candidates were speaking, the debate audience would boo. They booed when Bernie Sanders called out Michael Bloomberg's billionaire donors. They booed when Bernie Sanders gave a nuanced answer on Fidel Castro and Cuba as a whole. And it all seemed to be when, for the most part, when Bernie Sanders was talking. Here's a compilation of the audience booing during Bernie Sanders' responses.
That Cuba made progress on education. Yes, I think, really? Really? Mayor Bloomberg has a solid and strong and enthusiastic base of support. Problem is, they're all billionaires. Now, if you look,
So to be honest, when I was watching the debate, I completely felt like the audience was stacked against him. I felt like it was wholly in favor of Joe Biden and Bloomberg. When Bloomberg would say some sort of lame joke, the audience would applaud as if he was, the next coming of Jesus. And whenever Bernie Sanders gave a strong answer, the audience reaction was minuscule compared to some of the other candidates. And now we know why that is the case. It's because the audience was stacked with VIP donors, DNC members, people that bought tickets from the DNC, which costed $1,750 to over $3,000 in order to be a part of the audience of the debate. So that is just, the wealthy donor class. These are people that are maxing out their donations and donating tens of thousands of dollars to super PACs, which fund the candidates on stage. The people that don't want their taxes to go up, the people that don't want to see a progressive candidate like Bernie Sanders as president. So that's why they were booing his answers, and the audience reaction to his strong answers was minuscule compared to the other people. But the good news for us and the bad news for the ruling class is that the people that actually make up the 99% were not in that audience. We're going to show up to the ballot boxes when it comes to making our voices heard. So I suspect a strong showing on Super Tuesday. I don't think that debate is going to move the needle for any of the candidates all too much. Overall, it was an embarrassment for Democrats as a whole. I think Donald Trump and the Republicans were probably laughing the entire time at what a sideshow that was. And hopefully we can maybe move towards some sort of system with more impartial debate moderators and some sort of system where a corporate network that's not running Bloomberg ads in between every commercials is actually moderating the debate, so we can actually have some sort of fair debate with substantive questions. Let me know your thoughts. We are on Twitter at PathForwardYT. You could leave a comment in the YouTube comment section down below. Whether you agree or disagree, I'd love to hear your thoughts.